left hind. Good, that's good, that's good. Okay, that's actually quite perfect. So, you know that dictionary definition of when a horse is straight, their spine directly overlaps the line of travel, meaning that they're bent on curves and straight on lines. The other half of that definition is with the hind feet, oh, you just wrecked it. Take another half step up. With the hind feet, left hind. Yep, good, perfect. Don't you dare move. With the hind feet following directly in the tracks of the front feet. Well, look at the anatomy of a horse. They are narrow in the shoulders. Not every single horse is like this, but 99% of them are. They're narrow in the shoulders and wider in the front feet. Behind, they're like an upside-down triangle. They have wide hips, and their hind feet are usually closer together. So if you really want to get picky, it's very difficult for a horse to walk, trot, or canter, to move, with his hind feet directly following in the tracks of his front feet. So, to ride a straight horse, we ride in what's called first position. It straightens the horse. It teaches them, if we were tracking to the left, it teaches them baby engagement of the inside hind leg, because engagement just means the bending of joints. Each step he takes, he has to bend the joints of his inside hind leg. If you don't ride your young horse in first position at walk and trot, I guarantee you when you go to canter, you will have a crooked horse. Haunches will be to the inside because they haven't learned the baby mechanics of how to bend the joints of the hind legs. So once you have your baby stuff, you can steer and go, stop, go left, right. You want to ride your horse in first position, which means he's not on 3 tracks like shoulder in, he's not on 4 tracks like shoulder 4, but if he's coming straight at me, he's like absolutely perfect now, so only you guys can tell, but you can move if you want. If she was tracking to the left, I cannot see the horse's right hind foot because it's hidden behind the right foreleg. But I see a half a hoof's width of his left hind hoof to the inside of his left foreleg. This is first position. This is a straight horse. This teaches baby engagement of the hind legs. Now, like most things, and that's why I had you do, flexion, counterflexion, and then doing too much. Like most things, it's harder to do the really subtle things than it is to do the big things. So a lot of times when people try to ride first position like this, they end up with shoulder 4, or they end up with shoulder in, which is fine if you want to do a straightening exercise. But if we just want to ride a straight horse, you have to be able to identify this feeling. Now, I know just from watching your horse from the beginning, I guarantee you when you try to get this position, he's going to bend his neck and his haunches are going to come in. So you're going to do this exercise in counterflexion. Just like we just did as you went around the arena, we turned the outside wrist so you always saw the outside eye. And then, okay, we've talked about a bunch of things. We talked about lateral flexion at the pole by unlocking the door, turning the key in the lock. Gives you position, it's called positioning. Position left, position right. Flexion left, flexion right. The action of the rein is to turn the key. When you vibrate a rein, moves the bit in the horse's mouth, and that action of the rein flexes the horse in the jaw. If we want to control this area, the shoulder area of the horse, we use the 2 arms as a unit. So they say equidistant from your body. You don't want to come closer with your inside hand, because look what happened to my shoulder when I did that. Went down. You want the shoulders level. So if I was going to do left shoulder in, 2 hands would go to the left. Right shoulder in, 2 arms would go to the right. My 2 forearms staying equidistant from my body. This controls this region of the horse. So if she wanted to do left first position, her hands would come slightly opening left rein, slightly bearing right rein. There was something else I was going to say about that. You can do it in normal flexion. You're going to do it in counterflexion, because if you do it in true flexion, you're going to lose his shoulders. So let's just try that. Let's go in the walk to the left. True flexion, first position. So when she's on that long side, you guys will be able to see. On this long side, you guys will be able to see. She wants to tuck the horse's left hind leg ever so slightly between the front legs so that a half a hoof's width, that's good, Alexandra. Don't bend the neck, Barry Hill, just straight neck counterflexion. You're overdoing it. I'm glad you're a high achiever here, but don't try so hard. Atta girl, good. Good. pick up rising trot and first position. Counter flexion, but straight neck, Berry Hill, the neck parallel. Good, that's absolutely perfect. Can you guys see that? That's a straight horse. And she keeps it on the corner, left hind is tucked a hair to the inside of the left fork. Can you see that? That teaches the horse baby engagement of the inside hind leg. Good. Good girl. Good. He says, I don't like that. Good. Well done. Try to make the neck a little straighter with your left hand, Berry Hill, and you're perfect. But you're placing the hind leg very nicely. Good. Awesome. Alexandra, don't overdo it. The subtle things are harder. That's perfect. And then from H, change direction. Berry Hill, super. So your counter flexion is better. You're not bending the neck. And then the two arms come a little bit to the left to leave the shoulders in front of the left hind leg. If he tries to drift in, you close your left leg on the girth. Change direction, Berry Hill, and now flex him to the left. Turn your left wrist, but keep his neck straight, just like we did on that figure eight. And first position in this direction. That's a little bit too much. That's more like shoulder 4, which is great as an exercise, but not how you would just plain old ride a straight horse. He's in perfect first position right now as he comes by me. Perfect through the corner. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, beautiful.
Good. Yeah. And now you've got the counter flexion nicely, but his haunches are falling to the right. Everybody see that?
Yes.
He's unloading his right hind leg. So keep your right leg on, Berry Hill, and take your two hands to the right. Girl. But keep his neck straight. And she tucked his right hind leg a little more underneath him. That was well done. Good. Okay, Berry Hill, you walk for a second. Alexandra, you sit in shoulder 4. Good. On the next long side, when you're beautiful, and come off the track, Berry Hills, so that when we can see you, I want you in shoulder 4 doing a transition to the canter. Don't overdo it. That's shoulder 4. I'm sorry, I meant first position. I might have said shoulder 4. You see where his haunches went? You see how they're to the inside? They're to the inside now. I just want you to see that. Okay, and then walk. That was a great bad example. Thank you. But here's a girl who found no difficulty riding her horse in first position in the walk and the trot. It looked like a walk in the park. The horse still unloaded his inside hind leg when she went to canter. That's why I'm telling you, if you don't ride your horses in first position and walk and trot, I guarantee you that's what's going to happen, because the horse says, whoa, the mechanics of the canter, having to bend the joints of my inside hind leg in the canter is so much harder. I'm going to open the joints of my inside hind leg and step to the inside so that I don't have to engage my inside hind leg. So you're going to do that again with a little more influence, even if you have to counter flex them, but a little more influence of your inner leg and your two arms coming to the inside. I want to trot the canter transition in first position. And if you can, try to do the canter transition toward the beginning of the long side. A cute horse, huh? So first position, inner leg ready, much better. Now counter flex him because he's doing what Berry Hill's horse likes to do. Yep, counter flex and ride first position counter flexion so that you can move. That's better. Don't counter bend, just counter flex. Tell him, good boy, good boy, good boy. It's still hard for him, but much better. Yeah, good. Counter flex. Slide his shoulders to the right. He's still not 100%. So how old is he?
Just 7.
Just 7, okay. So his haunches are still a little to the right. That's better. Keep your inner leg on, though. See, he found another escape route. So he doesn't come off the track. You're not stupid. So inner leg on the girth, counter flexion. Yeah, so you block off all his, you know, tell him, good boy. Oh, he's like, ooh, I don't like that. Okay, that's good, because that was a good improvement for him. And then tighten your tummy good through the corner. Did you feel that? His inner hind leg was tucked underneath his body in the corner. And then you can take a break to the walk. Not like that. Good. But Alexandra, you see how interesting that is, that as easy as first position was for you in walk and trot, horses do what horses do. And if you don't, in an absolutely thoughtful way, ride first position in the canter, they will unload that inside hind leg. And so I had to have you do with him, because he got so crooked in the canter, I had you do what Barry Hill had to do, which was to counter flex the horse, so you had more capacity to move the shoulders over. What else did I want to say about that? Oh, I do want to say for both of you, because you'll have to do the same thing in canter. You'll have to ride him in counterflexion, because you already have to ride him in counterflexion and walking and trot to get him straight until it becomes normal. For the canter depart itself, he has to be flexed to the inside, because a horse will pick up whatever lead they're bent and flex toward. The moment you get into the canter, change to counterflexion, put your inner leg on so he can't drift off the track, and lead the shoulders over that inside hind leg. Okay, you understand that? Okay, so what we've covered so far is a little bit of the fourth and fifth ingredient in the training scale. Fourth ingredient is what?
Compulsion.
Fourth ingredient is what?
Compulsion.
Fifth ingredient is what?
Straightness.
Okay, two kinds of straightness. What was the first one?
Axis.
Oh, good job. What was the second one?
Legs.
Legs, first position. Okay, so that's all I wanted to cover with these guys, because these are first level horses. However, let's back up a step. We need to talk more about our connecting aids, like I talked about in the last group. Now, I don't know, did you get to hear anything about that, Alexandra, in the last group? You were getting ready. That's too bad. Who can teach? Who can teach the connecting aids? Let me think. In 14 words. Who can teach the connecting aids, Pam, in 14 words? I knew she could. Okay, listen to Pam. 14 words.
Does not count.
Does not count, no.
The connecting aid.
Oh, you've already used up 3 words.
Non-marriage of the driving aids, the bending aids, and the rein of opposition applied almost simultaneously for the duration of 3 seconds.
That's pretty good. I mean, that was good.
That was really good.
Okay, but that probably means nothing to you guys, does it? Because you missed the second part of the lesson. So I'm going to do it in 14 words. Why don't you stop, because it's hard to multitask.